Oakland discusses safety and multifamily housing. Winter Garden has a new inpatient hospital. 20 vehicles burglarized in one day at Horizon West. And a new organization in West Orange County helps youth and families in our under-resourced communities. The date is May 5th, 2022. We're going to go through these stories and more. Welcome to West Orange on the Go. My name is Austin Arthur, and this is where we do local news and comment. And when I say local news, I mean hyper-local. West Orange. This is your news. We begin in 10 seconds.
You're listening to West Orange on the Go. Brought to you by the West Orange Times and Observer. Hosted by Austin Arthur. West Orange on the Go.
The Oakland Town Commission is doing its part in keeping West Orange trail users as safe as possible. At the April 26th meeting, elected officials passed a resolution that allows the town to add stop signs for north and south vehicle traffic at key trail intersections. The signs should be in place this week. Now, the Town Commission held a work session prior to that commission meeting to discuss the future of multifamily housing developments and how the town should approach them. The town planner walked commissioners through the town's history with multifamily dwellings. And according to town officials, after the commission approved the Avenue at Oakland apartment complex, the developer pulled a, quote, bait and switch on the town. So the town set its first 6-month moratorium on such construction in March 2018. It was then extended for another 6 months, and during that time, the town adopted new zoning code and architectural design guidelines. The town planner stressed the commission's desire to keep Oakland's, quote, Mayberry charm, but acknowledged that there are 3 pieces of property that are appropriately suited for multifamily housing. Quote, there was a pretty good consensus with the Planning and Zoning and Architectural Review Board that there is room for multifamily housing, end quote. Commissioner Saul Ramos said, quote, I'd like to stay like Mayberry. If people are going to come here and ask for an apartment, it needs to be a Mayberry apartment. A gas station needs to look like a Mayberry gas station. If somebody makes an offer on a hotel, it needs to look like a Mayberry hotel. He concluded by stating that the commission can, quote, not get this wrong again. Okay. Now, Advent Health this week welcomed its first patients to its new inpatient tower in Winter Garden. The new inpatient tower, which broke ground in 2019, will offer a multitude of new services. And President and CEO of Advent Health Winter Garden, Carrie Vargas, said the organization designed the building with the patient at the center of their thinking and an emphasis on whole person care. According to Advent Health Winter Garden, about 60% of its staff are local residents, allowing the employees to embed themselves in the needs of their neighbors, friends, and family. Down on south to Horizon West, a great area, but as it continues to grow, so do all the other aspects of growth, including traffic congestion, school overcrowding, and yes, crime. Most recently, about 20 vehicles, this is on April 12th, were burglarized at the Retreat at Windermere apartment complex. The sheriff officers are still searching for the culprits, but according to them, vehicles are often burglarized in this fashion, commonly by teenagers who are most often looking for firearms. So, you see, that's just it. You know, these teens, and adults for that matter, these criminals, are trying to get a gun illegally so they could go do more illegal stuff with it. You know, of course, it's not just firearms that they're looking for. A lot of times they are looking for valuables, clearly, and this sort of stuff. You know, and in this week's paper, Annabelle Sykes tells us the whole story. It's a good piece. You should check it out. A lot of good tips in there. You know, a lot of common sense stuff. So it's not that we're necessarily going to read these tips and, you know, discover something new. But it's an important reminder. Often we need these kind of reminders. Something happens like this and you're thinking, wow, am I making these, am I doing these safe practices? Am I leaving something visible in my car to tempt a criminal? So just a good reminder to be vigilant and to make sure that you're not leaving valuables in your car. You're putting your alarm on, not just your car, your house, all this, if you have an alarm, to take these common sense precautions and utilize them. Because, even in good neighborhoods, there's criminals out there that'll come into the neighborhood and, cause havoc and be on their way. So we got to be vigilant at all times. That's a good reminder. Okay, another reminder. Tonight is Cinco de Mayo. All right, so I have my tip of the day, and that is that you go down to the American Legion in Winter Garden. That's downtown Winter Garden. Because there they are having a Mexican fiesta, okay, for Cinco de Mayo. I know the gal who's cooking. She's very good at it. And it's a great, cause. That Legion, the American Legion, does a lot of good things in the community. It's just going to be a nice thing. So if you haven't been down there, it's right across from the new Hangry Bison. But the Legion has been there for a long time, of course. So a lot of you are very familiar with it. So I have a One Winter Garden event tonight, or a meeting, I should say. So I won't be there early, but I'm going to try to sneak out of there as quick as possible. As soon as we're done with that meeting, I'm going to try to slide on out of there and head down to the American Legion for Cinco de Mayo. All right, so I hope to see you there too for the tacos and margaritas. Okay, let's see here. Woman volunteers for West Orange Habitat for Humanity gathered together in Winter Garden Saturday, April 30th for the Woman Build 2022 event. I'm very honored. I'm part of this organization, and I stopped by for the ceremony portion in between the two groups where the women were building. And, I just love habitat. I got to tell you. There's a few myths, though, I wanted to share with you today. The first myth is that Jimmy Carter founded Habitat for Humanity. That's actually not true. Jimmy Carter did not start it, but he did highlight it. It was his charity of choosing after he retired from the White House. And he did a lot of good with the organization and created a lot of great awareness. So that's a wonderful thing because it's a wonderful organization. But let me tell you myth number 2, because to me it's the most impressive part. Well, there's a myth that they give away homes, and that's not true. So that's the myth. They don't just give away homes. But the impressive part about it is the mission of giving a hand up, not a handout. So, these candidates, these potential homeowner partners, they qualify for, these homes, and they go through a process. They have to show a need, and then they work hard for it. They're not just given something. They put sweat equity into these homes. They're building these homes. They're getting the hammer and nails out. They're learning how to work on these homes, and whether it be the home that they're going to live in that they build on or somebody else's. Not only that, but they take these classes, financial literacy classes, and they get a mentor and learn how to, do things around the house on their own to become independent. The mortgages that they get, they never are to exceed 30% of their income. So that's kind of the way it's planned out. And it's really an incredible thing because a lot of people, they're a lot of these folks, they're spending 75% of their income on their rent or things like this. But with these habitat homes, it's not subsidized per se, but in a way that's a way to think of it. Habitat actually owns these mortgages and they're interest free. And these are people that otherwise would never be able to own a home, at least as far as one could imagine. The prospect is not there currently. So it's really a wonderful organization. And of course, I encourage you to check them out. Read Andrea's full piece. Visit westorangehabitat.org for more information. You need to get involved with these groups, and I got a big one I want to tell you about in the final page coming up in a moment. Now, let me tell you about our sponsor. They're consistently among the top private Christian schools in Orlando. A Foundation Academy is an educational experience comprised of faith, academics, fine arts, and athletics. And they are really going full steam ahead. They got expansions coming, really impressive. My daughter goes to this school. And I want you to check it out for your children, your grandchildren. Foundation Academy, where character matters. All right, and now I'm entering the final page. A piece by Annabelle Sykes. 3 teenagers were shot May 26, 2021, in front of a home on Horizon Street in Winter Garden, Florida. That day changed everything for founder and executive director of 8 Waves, Sarah Meyer. Well, Sarah Meyer began to help provide crisis management for victims and family members, and she quickly saw the lack of support and resources for young people who live in poverty throughout Central Florida. Now, that's including right in the heart of West Orange here. During her time with the children, Sarah said students struggled immensely with reading. They lacked confidence and were looking for direction to find opportunities. She said, quote, "For under-resourced families, sometimes there's just sickness and lack of hygiene. And then even getting to school is consistently difficult. They are dealing with so many outside life factors that reading just isn't a top priority," end quote. After a few months of research, dedication, and building trust within these communities, Sarah developed 8 initiatives to break generational poverty. Now, with a background in counseling, Sarah connected with the West Orange Dream Center and began to meet with different families and children to offer support and experience, particularly in the East Winter Garden area. After the 2021 shooting, she began to comprehend the extreme need for under-resourced locals. Kelly Carr, Director of Operations and Programs for 8 Waves, said the students could not understand the directions for the other subjects because they were not reading and understanding them. Sarah said her and Kelly's mission and visions for the future aligned perfectly. Sarah said, quote, "My biggest goal is for these kids to walk across the stage for high school graduation, to build their confidence, to let them know that there's people that are rallying for them, that the community itself is rallying for them. It's not just one person. There are hundreds of people behind her," she said emotionally while pointing to one of the children. Kendra Brown, a mother from the 8 Waves program, said it's been life-changing for her and her family. Quote, 8 Waves has helped me and my kids tremendously. Words can't express how they made us feel like family. Food, personal hygiene items, words of inspiration that helps not only the adults but the kids as well. Showing them that we are all one and that there's always someone there to talk to cry on, and most of all, to depend on, end quote. You know, this is a tremendous organization. Full piece in this week's paper. On the front page, you see Kelly and Sarah, the founder. I am privileged to be involved with this organization, and I will tell you, to see it in action, it's really incredible. The things that they're doing with these children and these families, helping these mothers, it is extremely involved. It's not something as simple as a food kitchen or donations of items. You know, it's not as simple as the hygiene items that they supply, which are so important. Those are incredibly significant and important things. There's lots of incredible organizations that are doing God's work by providing food for people and hygiene items for people. 8 Waves does that, but 8 Waves does more. And that's why I think it's such an incredible organization. They are there with these families. They are going into the homes of these families and helping them. When they have government knocking on their door, well, Sarah is there helping them. When there are issues within the community, Sarah is there helping them. Kelly's there. And others. A great team. I mean, this is what West Orange really is all about. So, I really encourage you to get involved. They need help. They need donations to keep this going. They need volunteers. You can sponsor a local child that's in need. You don't want to miss a chance like this to make a huge impact in the lives of somebody in this community. All across the country, all across the world, there are people that need our help, and we should give it to them. Whatever you can do, you should do. But while doing that, we must not forget our neighbors. We have neighbors within our community that need us. That's 8waves.org, doing God's work in our communities. This has been Austin Arthur with the West Orange Times and Observer. And until next week, have a happy and blessed weekend.
West Orange on the Go is brought to you by the West Orange Times and Observer. Hosted by Austin Arthur. West Orange on the Go.